A lot of walking through woods, through the trail. It doesn't look like you're high up at all because you're in the woods. All right, so making our way towards the top. Now, this is a very wide trail the whole way, right? So, like I said before, it's very wide. Just to point it out, my hiking poles from edge here, and you have enough space for another set of hiking poles, right? So this is at least 8 to 9 feet. You have plenty of space. Now, for those who are faint of heart when it comes to heights, you may have a slight issue over here because the valley is very deep, but most of the way, as you can see, this is the only time that it's open right here, this little bit so far, and I'm almost all the way up. So you have basically bushes that kind of prevent you from seeing the valley down below as this thing that's right here. It kind of gives you a feeling that it's kind of far away. So again, you have wide, and then when you walk, even if you're scared of heights, you have plenty of space. So if you're scared of heights and you want to push through this, again, I'm about a quarter of the way into day 2. You're good. You can push. Now at this point we're going up, but you do see the edge a little bit more clearly because there's less vegetation here. But it's not a steep drop. Sorry, it's not a steep drop here. So technically, I'm not saying that it will happen, but technically if you were to fall, all these bushes would stop you before you fell down. Just saying. But here is a bit more narrow than it's been. I would say, again, if we're doing the measurements, you get the whole stick and then another half a stick, so instead of 2 sticks. It's not so bad. It really depends on your fear of heights. If you are the type of person who, like, you know, you stand on a two-story balcony and you just can't go, you have to go back inside, maybe this isn't for you yet. But if you have just like a healthy fear of heights, the type that, you know, when you get too high up, you start cowering, your knees start bending and you want to start crawling. I'm only saying this because I have this from experience. I used to be that way. If you have that type of fear, you'll feel that way going up. You'll feel the anxiety a little bit, but you'll get through it because you have plenty of space. You'll even have enough space to walk here. You see them walking side by side? So you'll be able to walk side by side with another person who you trust and who will act as a barrier between you and the area that you fear, which is, you know, the drop. So far so good. This isn't Angel's Landing in Zion National Park where, you know, you're walking and you have like sheer cliffs on both sides of you. There's nothing like that as of yet, or that I know of. So far so good. Next time when I get to the top, maybe on a different day when I'm a little less out of breath, I'll talk to you more about my experiences with my fear of heights and how I got over it. For the most part, I still have a little bit of a fear of heights depending on the situation, but I'll talk more about it later. All right, check this out. So you're going downhill. So whenever you're going downhill in mountains, you see this vast thing ahead of you. And sometimes for a second, it can give you a little bit of a fright, but excuse me, it's very far off. If you look down at the stairs, it's just like going down a regular flight of stairs in your house. I mean, except that it's a little bit more annoying and rocky, but other than that, it's just like going down steps in your house. If you were to fall, again, I keep saying this because this is the type of stuff that people with irrational fears of heights think about. So if you were to fall, you'd roll down and you'd probably stop there. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps down. So again, the issue of heights, not a big deal. Another thing that people do is they go diagonally. It makes it much easier. See, they go diagonally. Makes it easier, makes it feel more safe, makes you feel like you're going on a flatter surface. Okay, coming up now, I would say this is probably the scariest part of the hike that I've done so far, meaning that someone who's scared of heights may have a little bit of an issue here. But again, you just walk to the right side. There's plenty of space. Plenty of space. You're not ever on the edge of a cliff. You always have plenty of space. And another cool thing about it is, you know, people are scared of heights. What they do is they feel like they have to sit down. If you sit down, you don't see all this area below. You just see far that way. So it'll give you a nice break from the views that give you the anxiety. And look, you can walk all the way to the right. I'm extending my arm and the hiking pole, and it still doesn't even come close to the edge. Plenty of space. This is a perfect example of what I meant. There's a cloud here, so you don't see any views. So, which means that you don't feel like you're on this high mountain. You just have the 20, 30, 40, 50 feet in front of you, and that's it. That's all you have to worry about and think about. And if you think about it that way, every 50 feet of the hike, you'll get through it. And 4 days after the hike, meaning once you get through the 4 days of this hike, I guarantee that you will not be as scared of heights as you were before. Not even close. Okay, so this is the first time throughout the hike that the trail is, I wouldn't call it narrow. It's still like 4 feet wide, but it's not as wide as before. So you do have, you kind of are a little bit of exposed, as you can see here. Plenty of room. You can lean to the left. But again, just to give you an idea of what it looks like, it is a bit exposed. But that's the first time. If you can get over it, you'll see that these views are so worth it. Again, some more exposure. This might make somebody nervous. Oh, and there's a perfect example of what happens if you fall. If you're not falling down, you're just falling right here. Winya wanya. Okay, so every part that's potentially scary for people scared of heights, I record and I show them and I explain. Because apparently it's not on YouTube, which you would think it would be, right? Okay. So the only few places that were a little bit exposed were the ones I showed you in the video. This is a little bit of an issue for someone scared of heights, potentially, because it's very steep stairs on the way down. But it's not bad. Oh, here's a perfect idea. Okay, trail is wide. This is a cliff. This is what I call a cliff. But you don't even notice it. It's just like 2 seconds. I'm back. I would like to note that this part of the trail, the last downhill, which lasts about 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours down at the on the last part going down of the second day. You have this trail which goes on for a while. Actually, it's not narrow, but there is a drop off right next to it. So I just wanted to show it to you, just to give you an idea what it looks like. But it's pretty wide, and always, like I said, if you walk to the left, you don't have to stand near the edge. You don't have to be near the edge at any point. I think that throughout this hike for the past 2 days, I spent about 25 seconds having to be close to the edge. 25 seconds, no more. And I've been hiking for the whole day for the past 2 days. But again, there are parts that, like I just showed you, you could see for yourself. This part is actually fairly narrow with a big drop off. So yeah, about 3 feet. You can lean on the side of the rock though, and this way you don't even feel like you're at risk for falling. And then back to wide. 2 seconds. This is what I mean. 25 seconds throughout the whole thing, because it's just a few little pieces here and there. Just came up the most narrow stairs ever. You see? Super narrow with a drop off on the side. But it's totally worth it. Can you see the Inca ruins? Can you see these? This place is called Marca. It's a military barracks. The reason I'm putting this in the video is because it's not mandatory to come here. It's actually out of the way. So the tour guide actually had some of the people who have issues with their legs, etc. They had them, sorry, I'm out of breath. They had them stand down there, and they didn't come up. So the reason I'm mentioning it is because this is the only part of the trail that I can honestly say I was a little bit nervous. It's narrow. It's extremely narrow, and the rocks jut out, so you kind of have to, you can't stay to the right. You have to stay to the left. But I'm putting it out here on the video, excuse me, because I want to point out that it's not mandatory to do this. Not everyone did this. Half of my group did this, only half. So we're going, see, now I'm kind of stuck in the middle here. I have to be extra careful. And you see, even me, I'm mostly over my fear of heights, but you know, sometimes it creeps up. Things happen. You're in a position where it's a little bit dangerous. So, but you deal with it. You breathe through. You do it. You talk yourself through it, and you do it. Once I get down there, you know what? Maybe I'll finish explaining my story and how I got over the fear. So, because I had a debilitating fear of heights. I could not do anything remotely similar to this. I remember when I was a kid, my parents took me up to the crown of the Statue of Liberty, and I went up like 2 flights of it, and I was like on the floor crying that I didn't want to go up anymore. It was really not a good experience. Although now I would love to do it again, and I'm happy my parents made me do it. So this is the staircase. I'm gonna take this off my head once we get down to the safer area. Woo. What's that? We heard a lot of frogs ribbiting. Apparently the Incans saw that as a call for rain, so we're expecting some rain potentially. This I would not do if it was raining. Okay. There we go. And are we filming? Did all that film? Yeah, we did. Okay. So I've always been scared of heights, as I explained. And it was extremely difficult for me to do anything heights related. Yeah, look at this from down here.
I was more scared going up than going down, actually.
Yeah, and it wasn't so bad. Yeah, it wasn't so bad.
I was more scared thinking about going down than actually.
So it started off where I went on a hike with a bunch of friends in Israel. It was a moderate hike. It wasn't anything crazy. But for me, I remember taking video and I was like, oh my God, I'm crapping myself. I can't believe I'm doing this. I was so scared. And I didn't want to finish. And I thought I was going to die the whole time. and I was crawling through a good, maybe I would say an hour out of the 3-hour hike. I was literally on my hands and knees crawling in order to not feel scared. And then after that, all of a sudden it wasn't as bad, just slightly better. And I did another hike, and I went on hikes that weren't even like, not scary hikes, nothing crazy, but I went on these hikes. As we're speaking here, let me show you. I'm gonna keep going on the trail, and you see this. This is a drop off of about 15 feet, so it's nothing crazy, and it's very wide. Anyway, so I started going on more and more hikes, and as time went by, I got less and less scared, and I was able to deal with it better. And I got to the point where I was able to stand on balconies. I remember I wasn't able to sit like on a 6th floor balcony outside. I wouldn't be able to do it. Too much anxiety. I was too scared. Even approaching the window and thinking about going outside and sitting on that balcony, I just couldn't do it. It made me nervous, and I walked away from the door. So, but then I got over it. And then after just hike over and over again, go on a roller coaster, do something that's going to take you out of your element. Try your best, and if you can't do it, take a step down, do something a little less difficult, less high, and build your way up slowly. I think my next step might be skydiving at this point. I'm a flight attendant now. I literally work in an airplane. I hike all the time. I'm on the Inca Trail. I do a lot of stuff, and you know what? It feels great once you get over it. And I would, if you would have asked me 5 years ago, will you be able to get over your phobia of heights? No way. Not a chance. Anyway, we're almost done. If there's anything crazy that you might feel scared about, I will put it in the video. Otherwise, we're going to start with tomorrow, which is day 3 of 4. So, at the end of today, we'll be halfway through. Yalaletgo.